So there's a point in the evening where I like to open it up and have two people come up here and take my spot and ask you one or two questions. Do we have anyone in the crowd tonight that would like to ask a question? Anyone, or have we asked everything that you guys want to hear about? Don't be shy. This is Wonder Women in action. Come on, ladies. Okay. Please introduce yourself and come take my seat.
Hi, I'm Catherine. Nice to meet everybody. You guys are wonderful.
Hi, Catherine.
Thank you for being here. And of course you're fantastic. Listening to you guys speak and talk, I've had so many thoughts in my head. I'm going to be very honest. And I just want to know, out of curiosity, and you don't have to even answer it if you're not comfortable, but what really keeps you going? Like when you're knocked down and people tell you you can't do it, or this is impossible, or whatever negativity people throw at us like little grenades, what is it that makes you go, dust it off and go, I'm going to do it anyway? What is it? I want to know, out of curiosity.
I mean, for me, it's just a lot of what we've been talking about. Like, I have a vision. Like, I see what I want in my life, and I have a lot of drive, I think, and I want so badly to be able to achieve that vision. And I don't know if I think it's having faith and having certainty. And so when you come up against those obstacles that I don't do this, but every obstacle is an opportunity, which sounds cliche, but every obstacle can be an opportunity to reveal more light or to take you on a different course that you never thought that you could be on, even though it's a really hard situation. And when I'm in the middle of it, do I always think like that? No. But it's like I personally, for some reason, receive a lot of obstacles. Like, I personally get a lot of them thrown in my way, and and I think all of us do. But I think that when you're on, sometimes when I was on this track or this path of doing what I wanted to do, and most of the time since I've been on this path, everybody has told me that I can't do it. I mean, literally every teacher you talk to, every person, you have those people. Yes, I had people who believed in me, and those are the people that I focus on and put my energy toward. But I'm a sensitive artist being, and I also get told a lot of negative things about myself, and from a lot of outside sources. So I think it's like it's hard because you have to. I got a really bad review, like things that, it's not just that, but I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. So going along those lines, but you also have the wonderful people in your life that we were talking about, sort of like the one little thing that can keep you going, the one little person that can say something to you to keep you going, the Rhonda who's here tonight, like a person like that who can say one thing to me and sort of keep me going. And it's like, it's obviously not easy, I'm not famous. Nobody really knows who I am, so it's like, but I'm just saying, like, in this arts community, I'm not a name. Do you know what I mean? Everybody talks about that. I'm sure you guys know that. So everybody says, oh, well, who's in it? Well, then I'll go see it if that person's in it, or who, that's what it's like in my community. So it's like when you're up against that and you have this little sliver of the artist community that's and then you don't have a lot of other people that really want to pay attention to you, and unless you're that, then it's like, okay, I want to build myself to that just so I can have more opportunities to do more work, and I think that that's what I want to do. It's like, I can do this. I can make a living at it. You know, I keep saying, can I make a living at this? I mean, I know you're, as an artist, you're told that constantly. You can't make a living at it. What are you doing? This is so hard. Why would you do that? Isn't it hard? This is so hard. And I've heard that over and over again, but it's hard to do anything across the gamut. It's hard to do. I mean, you're a massage therapist.
Yes,
You spent 2,000 hours getting your certification, your license in New York City, right?
Yes,
it was pretty tough, I'm sure.
It was.
Right? And a lot of time and energy and effort and work, and a lot of time and energy and effort and work that you put into your business, right?
Absolutely.
That you come up against obstacles every day. You're healing people on a daily basis, so you're dealing with all different elements on a daily basis to have to heal them and come up against those obstacles. So it's what you do every day. You know, it's the same exact thing. So it's just for some reason when you're quote unquote an artist, people make a bigger deal of it, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know what it's like, oh, well, you know, but it's just who I am. It's the fabric because of who I am is being a storyteller or a singer, or those are the gifts that I was given to do. And so I just have to keep doing them as sort of a sickness in a way, but in a, you know, I have to keep doing that because that's my way to give back to the community, regardless of whether or not I'm making, you know, $100 at it or if I'm making 100,000. You know, it's like I have to keep doing it. Does that help answer our question?
Actually, absolutely does. Because everything you said, I just started off. I don't know like some people know me, some people don't. I graduated a few months ago, and I've had this love and passion to help heal people. And I jumped into their head first, and most people are like, okay, and they kind of ignore me. But listening to your story and the obstacles that you had to deal with really just kind of like synchronized with my experiences in the past few months and trying to put myself out there. And it's very nice to hear that someone else is going through that as well or has gone through that, such as yourself, and I really appreciate it. And I think you're fantastic, and I think everyone that showed up tonight is wonderful, and I want to thank everybody for being here. And
I agree. I think you're fantastic. Oh. Thank everybody.
Thank you. I think we have a couple other questions. Elena, you had a question you wanted to ask.
Hi,
Thank
Elena.
you. Hi. My name is Alina Wilzinski. I'm the phantom behind the cameras. I have a question. Before hearing about the play, Forever Dusty, I really didn't know much about her life. And, you know, just her music, her hit songs, you know. And when I started hearing about the production and reading about her life, and then Aliya going to see it and going, oh, my God, you have to see this thing, and it's an incredible story, and all these things, you know, that I had no idea. So what I'm curious to ask you about is, what is your favorite thing that stood out to you about Dusty, about her life, and a thing perhaps that related to you? You know, what is it that pulled on your heartstring, on your imagination, on your passion, you know, that you connected with Dusty?
So many things, and I think that's why I've stuck with the story for this long. I think the first thing was her love of soul music, and her obsession with that type of music, and being able to interpret that. And, you know, it's for lack of a better phrase, it's a white woman singing black music, singing soul music. And I really connected with that because I don't think soul is white or black. I think it often gets defined that way. I think soul is a place where a sound comes from, where your soul lives, where whatever that is, like we're talking about passion, whatever that passion is for you, that's soul to me. It's like a fairy dust in a way. And I didn't think that what I loved is that there weren't color color boundaries with her, that it was, she was just singing from who she was as a person, but was accepted by that community. And I think that those are the race relation piece of it, and is a huge, the civil rights, and the way that she was a huge advocate for civil rights without really trying to be. She was very political without really being political. She stood up against apartheid in South Africa, and she was a gay woman living at a time when she was really, being gay was a crime. And I think that I just adored that she was such a powerful woman, and she's very funny. She has this incredible sense of humor, and she's hysterical. And I don't know if you know much about who she is or you've watched anything about her, but she's constantly cracking jokes. She's constantly making a funny face. Her arm movements, anybody knows her sweeping arm gestures. I mean, the whole thing, the whole encompassing character is iconic, and it's fascinating. And there's been 7 books written about her life. She sang, almost 1,000 songs she's recorded. She just has this huge breadth and depth, and it was really who she was as a human being that drew me closer to her, and the choices that she made in her life were choices that I probably would have made, and that helps, minus the really bad drug and alcohol addiction. I'm really glad I didn't make those choices, but she definitely, as I'm sure struggled with her demons, and I think it was just more of a product of her time in a way. She couldn't come out, and even though she did come out in 1970 as being bisexual, she couldn't really live publicly as a gay woman. She did more later in life, but it was, I think she struggled with that. She was raised in a very strict Catholic home. There's all sorts of theories that you can sort of pontificate on why she made the choices that she did. But I think that she was just so intriguing to me on so many levels, as an artist, as her politically, as socially, and where she was at the time and in the 60s, and the way that she looked, the way that she dressed, the way that she behaved, and who she hung out with, and the contemporaries that she had, and the lovers and the other women that she had, and people who've come up to me and told me that they slept with her, and just fascinating stuff. And she married a Janis Joplin impersonator, which was really a fascinating story. And she just had this phenomenal. She was a huge animal rights activist. She just loved animals, and she just was this sort of a lovely person too. Everybody who met her has come up to me and said, she invited me to her dressing room. We sat and had long conversations. We hung out. She was so amazingly giving and compassionate and gentle to the people around her, as well as being really, she was the first woman to produce her own records in a lot of ways, and she never took credit for it in England. And, she just was this, kind of obviously like a tour de force of this career and this icon. And, people just aren't built like that anymore. It's just, it's hard. I think that she had to fight, and she made these incredibly fascinating and interesting choices, and that I would have probably made myself, which I find very inspiring. Is that helpful?
Very, thank you. Well, one thing I think about sometimes with stories like that are so amazing is there's a certain level of self-delusion, but in a way that they don't care. It's like that. I think that's where passion does come in, where it's like they're just so focused that they don't see that they're making such strides, and that they're, like you said, she was such an advocate and didn't even know it.
Absolutely. I don't think that she would have ever thought that she was making the impact that she was making ever. I don't think that she thought of herself in that way. I could be wrong, but it doesn't come across in anything that I know about her, or read about her, or talked to people who knew her. She was very sort of shy and humble, and and she, but then made these choices that were really controversial, and which were fascinating. I mean, literally the South Africa scandal, when she did that, I mean, it caused the governments to start, they were I mean, it was a really big deal. It was a very, it was a huge scandal in England, and her coming out was a huge, people come out these days and it's still a big deal, but in those days it was a really, really big deal for her to make that stance, which I thought was very brave and beautiful.
So I've overstayed my welcome, but one more question. You said there's a few books about her. What's your favorite? What would you recommend to really dig in and get to know her?
Annie Randall, who is a musicologist at Bucknell, she teaches musicology, rather. She wrote this book called Dusty, Queen of the Postmods. And I just absolutely adore that book. I would have to say that is the dearest book to my heart as far as creating the character, because she spent 4 years writing this book, and she talked to so many people who knew Dusty and and pulled from her research, individual research, and also her conversations with people who knew Dusty. And she came out with this book that really, really was an incredible, she came out with this book that was really an incredible in-depth character study of Dusty that, I mean, it was beyond impactful and beautiful. A good place to start is a girl called Dusty or named Dusty. Is that right? By Sharon Davis? By Sharon Davis. And then Paul Howes has like a Dusty encyclopedia if you really get crazy. It's like this big, and it's every song she's ever recorded and where she was and when, and a lot of pictures. And I mean, just amazing, really amazing stuff. And I mean, the tragic book is Dancing with Demons, which I'm sure you've heard of. But yeah, and I mean, it's pretty tragic. But those other pieces are really like a good entree into a good positive entree into who Dusty was. And I like to stay on the positive side of what she's done. Yeah.
Well, thank you for meshing your passion with hers.
Oh, thank you.
Bringing her life into the light.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And we have just enough time for one more question from Aliya, as we talk about a woman with a lot of passion for love and life.
Hi, I'm Aliya.
Hi.
I guess the one question that I have is, at what point or what signifier in your career will let you know and let others know that you've accomplished what you set out to do from a kid? A lot of actors and actresses will say, I just want to win an Oscar, or I just want to sell out a theater of 3,000 people, and that's their marker for success. What's your mark for success?
Those would be wonderful things. My marker for success, if I can meet this marker right now, I mean, of course, I have big, lofty dreams. I would love to sell out, a 3,000 seat house, or, win an Oscar. But I think right now for me, I would love to be able to license my show in different areas so that other people are telling the story, and that the sort of my project's getting out there. I would love to do the project in London. I would love to have it be successful in London, and I would love to make the movie of Dusty Springfield and bring the project back to Broadway. Those are very big things and would feel incredible. But most of all, I would love to be just really self-supporting as an artist and feel like I've never had stability as an artist. It's always been very, very up and down. So if there was any way to do what I did and really be able to support myself, I think that would be a huge, huge step. I've done it and I just did it and I'm doing it now. But it's hard, it's not like there's a cushion there. And I think building a cushion for me and would be both, monetarily and psychically, is a really good place to start. But yeah, of course, I have the big dreams too. I would love to do an album of my own songs. I write music. I would love to hear, my voice. I've been singing Dusty for a really long time, and I would love to just do my own stuff and write my own music and have people see that side of me as well and enjoy that side of me as well, which seems scary to me because I'm been with this character for so long that separating myself out from that and doing my own thing seems scary to me. But that's a really big dream. I mean, I wanted to do like an all-girl band.
That's good.
And write my own music. And what about you? What for you would be at this point in your life the feeling, or do you already feel that way?
No, I don't already feel that way. There are some things that I would like to accomplish. I'm not so sure exactly what those things are. I think I would just like to be able to have a certain degree of inner peace, a certain level of happiness, surrounded by a small group of people who support me in the small dreams that I have and in my existence in whatever capacity that is.
I think that's beautiful. I would love those things as well. I bless them unto you. You can bless them unto me.
Yeah. We'll trade them back and
Exactly.
forth.
We'll trade them back and forth. That's a beautiful thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. So, I'm really enjoying, I'm so happy that you're here with us tonight. And on behalf of the Wonder Women organization, you have our support.
Thank you.
We want to follow what you're doing. We want to, give light to what you're doing, promote your efforts along the way, be in touch with me. I'm very, very inspired by you. And you have taken a great evening and you've made it even more wonderful.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet.